Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Vikagiri Shri Radha Vinod Vihari Juki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Juki Jai Nityal Vishnu Vishnupara Sutara Sutashmar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Vishnupara Sutara Sutashmar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityal Vishnu Vishnupara Sutara Sutashmar Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityalala Vishnu Vishnupad Saraswati Kumar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalala Vishnu Vishnupad Saraswati Kumar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityalala Vishnu Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaurkshadas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalala Vishnu Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Nityalala Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannātha Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Śrī-Caitanya-bhāgavata Bhattadasa Raghunath Shri Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namachay Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Ki Jai. Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Jai. Shri Caitanya-bhāgavata Ki Jai. Jai Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna, everybody. Hari Bol, Satya Mataji, Shubhananda Prabhu, Champak Mataji, Madhusudan Prabhu, and who else is there? 1 second. And Hari Mohini Mataji, Hari Bol. Okay, so, oh, I just got a message. The PDF is back. Okay. You want to see me wrap up the Āṭhāranālā 1 second? It'll just take 1 second. Here. Look at this. This is the last file of the Āṭhāranālā. I've been going back all morning with Anupam, and I think this is it. I think this is the last one. And then it's ready for the printers. Okay, let's see. The last change I made was I added this to page 168. I think, is it 168? 168. For Bhog Arti. Go to page 115. Go to page. That's okay to say go to page, right? Not refer to page. Now refer wouldn't be right. Whatever. Anybody thinks I should word that more nicely, let me know. Otherwise, it is ready. Cool. I just added this section to the end of Āṭhāranālā, which has all the kirtans that we sing throughout the day. Daily kirtans, temple program. So Guru Puja, then I ordered it by time of day, pre-dawn. Then Guru Vashtakam, Pranamami Sada Prabhupada Param, the Mangala Arati, Vibhavarishi. This wasn't in the Āṭhāranālā before. And then Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna, what we sing when we do Parikrama, Tulsi Parikrama in the morning. And then I wrote noon, Yashamati Nandana, evening, or Arati Yugal, Arati Tulsi Parikrama, and Hari Haraya Nama Krishna. And boom, it looks good. Okay, I'm just gonna write a quick message. Where's boom? It's a wrap. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, sorry guys. I didn't want to keep Anupam waiting because he's in the West and it will be late for him. Okay, let's do this. Mangalacharya. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyaeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Avatirna Sakarunyo Parichino Sarishvaro Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Dvau Bhrataro Bhaje. Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannātha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Lakshmi Kanta Jai Nityananda Vallabha Ekanta Jai Jai Vaikunta Ishwar Nyasi Raj Jai Jai Jaya Bhakata Samaj Jaya Jaya Patita Pavana Gora Chandra Dana Deha Hridaye Tomar Pada Dvanda Sheshakhanda Katha Bhai Shuno Ekachite Nilachale Gaura Chandra Aila Jemate Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshaya Kshiptastakama Ditaranga Madhe Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. The glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita. Yeah. Ore mura loka shuno Chaitanya Mangal Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Beshaka Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Vyas Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal Jahara Shavane Nashi Sarvaya Mangal Chaitanya Nitar Jate Jani Mahima Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima Bhagavate Jata Bhakti Siddhanter Sar Likhiya Chen Iha Jani Koriya Udhar Chaitanya Mangala Shune Jadi Pashande Javan Sheho Mahavaishnava Hoy Tatakon Manushe Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya Vrindavana Dasamu Ke Bhakta Shri Chaitanya Vrindavana Dasa Pare Koti Namaskar Aiche Granta Korite Ho Tarila Sansar Narayani Chaitanya Ruchishta Bhajan Tar Garbe Janmila Shridasa Vrindavan Tar Ki Arbhuta Chaitanya Charita Varnan Jahara Shavani Shuddha Koilo Tribhuvan Sahaje Vichitra Madhur Chaitanya Vihar Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Amrite Dhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai, Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai, Śrīla Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, the Gaudiya Bhāṣya of Śrīla Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Saparshad Shri Gaur Hari ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. One thing I want to check very quickly, on this PDF, I wrote page 111, but I just want to make sure I gave the page in the book and not in the PDF. I think I gave it in the book. Oh, sorry, 115. Let's see. 115. Is that okay? Yeah, I think it's good. Yes, 115. Perfect. All right. I bet if I actually read through the book now, I'd find a bunch more things, bunch more proofready things, but there's so much going on now. I don't really have time, and I think it's good enough. I made quite a few quite significant changes to this next edition of Arch and Deepika going to the printers now. Yeah. All right. Let's Haribol Krishna Mai Didi. Okay, chapter 2, description of the Lord's travel through Bhuvaneśvara and other places to Jagannātha Purī. And let me just check on, where is that? YouTube and Facebook? Where is it? Here it is. Haribol Rasapriya Didi. Okay. So here is the summary by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj when he was Pranavananda Brahmachari. When, after enjoying pastimes with his devotees at Shantipur, the Lord one morning expressed his desire to go to Nilachal, the devotees informed him about the various types of possible dangers he may face on the way. Yet, before the strong will of the independent Lord, the devotees, headed by Śrī Advaita, relented. Just before the commencement of his journey, the Lord solaced his devotees who were afflicted by thoughts of separation by instructing them to worship Krishna. Gaurasundar's devotees felt pangs of separation similar to the pains of separation felt by the residents of Vraj when Krishna left for Mathura, for they were none different from the residents of Vraj, and Gaurasundar was none different from the son of Nanda. Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar, Mukunda, Govinda, Jagadananda, and Brahmananda, they accompanied the Lord on his travel to Nilachal. On the way, the Lord asked the devotees if they had any accumulated possessions with them, and thereby tested their qualities of indifference and freedom from desires for material opulences. He was very pleased on learning that none of them had brought any accumulated wealth. While instructing the devotees to fully depend on Krishna, the Lord arrived at the house of Ananda Pandit in the village of Atisara and exhibited the pastime of accepting his hospitality. Eventually, the Lord came to the holy place named Chhatrabhog and saw the Ambulinga Ghat there. In this connection, the author has described the story of Ambulinga Shiva. After taking darshan and bath at Shatamukhi Ganga, the Lord became absorbed in his own internal mood. Suddenly, Ramachandra Khan, the administrator of Chhatrabhog village, came there and offered obeisances to the Lord. He was very astonished to see the Lord's intense eagerness to see Lord Jagannātha. On understanding the identity of Ramachandra Khan, the Lord mercifully ordered him to arrange passage for him to go to Nilachal. Ramachandra Khan requested the Lord and his devotees to first accept a meal at his house, and Mahaprabhu mercifully accepted his invitation. The people of Chhatrabhog thus received an opportunity to witness the transcendental ecstatic madness of the Lord. After 3/4 of the night passed and Mahaprabhu regained his external consciousness, Ramachandra Khan arranged a boat for Mahaprabhu's journey. On the boat, Gaurasundar began to display wonderful symptoms of ecstatic love. Then, on the Lord's order, Mukunda began to sing on the boat. And because of the Lord's dancing, the boat came on the verge of capsizing. When the boatman forbade them from performing kirtan by informing them about the danger of pirates and wild aquatics like crocodiles, Mahaprabhu assured the devotees about their safety by narrating to them topics of the infallible Sudarshan Chakra, which protects the devotees.
I don't remember reading anything about the boat almost capsizing in the Bengali, but maybe I spaced that out. Or it is always possible that there's been a mistranslation, though. That's always, I've seen that quite a few times now. After entering Orissa, Mahaprabhu took bath at a place known as Ganga Ghat and displayed the pastime of offering obeisances to Shiva, the king of Vaishnavas, installed there by Yudhishthir. Leaving the devotees in a temple, the Lord went alone to the householders' houses and displayed the pastime of begging alms by spreading the end of his cloth. Jagannātha Pandit cooked whatever foodstuffs the Lord collected by begging. After taking his meal with the devotees, the Lord spent that night performing Sankirtan in that village. Early the next morning, the Lord again started towards Purī. On the way, a road tax collector obstructed the Lord's path and demanded tax from him. When he subsequently observed the Lord's uncommon effulgence, he allowed the Lord to pass, but asked the devotees to pay tax. Later, on seeing Mahaprabhu's pastime of simultaneous indifference and affection for the devotees, the tax collector became struck with wonder and fell at the Lord's feet, begging forgiveness. After forgiving the tax collector, the Lord gradually came to the Suvarṇarekhā River, and therein took bath with the devotees. As Mahaprabhu proceeded on, the devotees headed by Avadhut Nityananda and Jagannātha fell far behind the Lord. During the journey, Jagannātha had been carrying the Lord's sannyas danda. When Jagannātha left the danda with Nityananda and went out to beg alms, Nityananda took the danda in his hand and began to think that it could not be fair that the same Lord who carries in his heart the world, it would never be fair that the same Lord whom he carries in his heart would carry a danda. Thinking in this way, Śrī Nityananda broke the Lord's danda into 3 pieces. This danda-breaking pastime of Nityananda is incomprehensible to the minds of ordinary people. Only Śrī Nityananda knows the confidential purport of this pastime. Okay, so that's where we left off. And we didn't read the Gaudiya Bhashya there either. So we will continue on from there. Where is it? What's a keyword? Broke. There it is. Let's just read a few verses before that, though. Okay. So Sri Gaurasundar, who is Lord Hari in the form of a human, made the Suvarṇarekhā glorious by taking bath in her waters and then continued on his journey. Oh, and Hari Bol, Nri Hari Prabhu, and Vaitaraṇī Mataji. And Manjari Didi, Nitai, Hari Priya Didi, Karu Didi, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu, and I just see it says forever here, but Hare Krishna, and Vidyalalasa Didi, Hare Krishna. One second. Hari Bol Vajanti, I am here, but I'm in the middle of the class. So if you could just send me text messages if it's something urgent, and I can respond. Oh, sure. Yeah, you can continue. Totally do that. That's great. If it's convenient for you, I mean, but yeah. I haven't done anything on the file yet. We just wrapped up Āṭhāranālā. Sorry. So Gaurasundar, he made the Suvarṇarekhā glorious by taking bath in her waters and then continued on his journey. Nityananda, in the company of Sri Jagannātha, fell far behind. Gaurachandra went some distance ahead and then sat down to wait for Nityananda Swarup. Lord Nityananda was always restless and intoxicated from being absorbed in thoughts of Lord Chaitanya. Sometimes he roared loudly, and sometimes he cried. Sometimes he laughed loudly, and sometimes he made thundering sounds. Sometimes he would swim in the middle of a river, and sometimes he would smear dust all over his body. Sometimes, in ecstatic love, he would fall so forcefully to the ground that everyone would think his limbs were broken. Sometimes, sometimes he danced on his own, and the earth would then sway back and forth. All such pastimes are not so astonishing for him, for he was Lord Ananta appearing in this world. All these pastimes were possible by Nityananda's mercy, for Gaurachandra constantly resides in his heart. While Nityananda Prabhu waited at one place, Jagadananda went out to beg alms. Sri Jagadananda generally carried the Lord's danda. He handed that danda to Nityananda Swarup and said, "Please take care of the Lord's danda. I will return in a few minutes after begging alms." With an agitated heart, Nityananda grabbed the danda and sat down there. Holding the danda in his hand, Lord Nityananda laughed. As his pastime, he then spoke to the danda. "O danda, it is not proper that he whom I carry within my heart should carry you." After speaking in this way, the most powerful Balaram broke the danda into 3 pieces. Pelilen danda bhangi koritin khanda. Lord Balaram, who is Parama Prachanda. Okay. I'm just giving a thumbs up to Vaitaraṇī. Okay, Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Oh, and Hare Krishna Ananta Om. Hare Krishna. Oh, and the Rukmini Didi, Hari Om. Okay. The Ekadandi so-called Paramahamsas who follow the philosophy of impersonalism always neglect the Tridandis. Since Sri Gaurasundar exhibited the pastime of pretending to accept the Ekadanda sannyas, Sri Nityananda Prabhu broke that danda into 3 pieces and turned it into a Tridanda. He then entrusted the service of carrying that danda to the servants of the Lord. That is why Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhu has quoted in his Upadeshamrita the verse from the Hansa Giti section of the ancient literature Mahabharata, beginning Vacho Vegam. And we all know that verse. Okay. That verse Vacho Vegam, which provides confirmation and qualification for accepting Tridanda sannyas, and which declares that every Tridanda sannyasi is expected to follow in the footsteps of Sri Rupa. Oh, and it's in square brackets. That's why I didn't read it, because it's an insertion from the editor. Apyaya Dikshita has presented the covered Buddhist Mayavadi's strong protest against the acceptance of Tridanda sannyas in his commentary known as Parimala. Sri Nityananda Prabhu transformed Sri Gaurasundar's Ekadanda into Tridanda to display the irrelevance of the Mayavadi Apyaya Dikshita's future writing against devotional service in his books Nyaya Rakshamani and Shivarka Mani Dipika. Sri Baladev Prabhu transforms the Ekadanda of the sannyasi, dressed Śrī Caitanya into a Tridanda to reveal that the impersonalist acceptance of Ekadanda, which is a symbol of Mayavad, and the current and former practices of accepting sannyas in the Shuddha Dvaita, the purified dualism disciplic succession, are not approved by the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Shuddha Dvaita, that's Madhvacharya, isn't it? Yeah, but in the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, that's not approved. What the Tattvavadis do, I guess. I guess in the Madhva Sampradaya they accept Ekadanda. This is fully approved by the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is the conviction of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Without becoming a Tridandi, no one can control himself. In the principle of Tridanda found in Karma-khaṇḍa, the Indra-danda, Vajra-danda, and Brahma-danda are combined with the Jiva-danda. In his explanation on Tridanda, Śrī Rupa Goswami Prabhu has revealed to the transcendental Tridandis the topics of controlling one's body, mind, and speech. When Tridanda is combined with Jiva Danda, then according to the external conception of Tridanda, Ekadanda becomes the principle of Paramahansa Dharma. I think Jiva Danda is the little small one, right? At the top. No, but actually now I think they have 4 big dandas like that. Yeah. Anyways, I can't remember. When Tridanda is combined with Jiva Danda, then according to the external conception of Tridanda, Ekadanda becomes the principle of Paramahansa Dharma. But since in the principle of Ekadanda, the transcendental state beyond the 3 modes of nature attributes faults in the process described in the Pancharattras, Ekadanda, in the form of Tridanda, has been accepted in the process described in the Pancharattras. This system is directly and indirectly followed in the Brahma Sampradaya, in the Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, and in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Okay, but it was maybe I got that wrong with when he said Shuddhadvaita. I thought Shuddhadvaita was Madhvacharya. He says the former practices of accepting sannyasa and the Shuddhadvaita. Anyways, because now he's saying directly and indirectly followed in the Brahma Sampradaya, in the Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. Anyways, not totally clear on that. But therefore, the teachings of Sri Gaura Nityananda cannot be different from those of the Sri Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. From this time on, persons under the shelter of Śrī Caitanya-dev have become known as Gaudiya Tridandi Swamis. Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad's acceptance of sannyas on the path of regulative principles and the Rupanuga's acceptance of sannyas on the path of Paramahansa did not create any mutual contradiction. Although the Gaudiya Vaishnavas accept sannyas on the path of regulated principles, they are not opposed to the Paramahansa Dharma of the followers of Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan. We see that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada gave Babaji Vesh to many people also. Paramahansa Vesh, right? Although in Paramahansa Dharma, the symbols found in the regulative path are considered external, acceptance of external symptoms does not violate the principles of the Paramahansas. Although the 5 other Vrajavasi Goswamis followed in the footsteps of Sri Sanatan in accepting the dress of Paramahansas, Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati Goswami accepted Tridanda Sannyas on the path of regulated principles and recorded the Gaudiya doctrine in his book Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. The recent, somebody was just asking me for that book. I need to give that. The recent pure devotional endeavors by the followers of Sri Rupa to rectify the behavior of the fallen, deviant, so-called Paramahansas, to protect the proper code of conduct, and to inaugurate the path of regulative principles for the purpose of counteracting the attack on those who traverse the path of anurag, or loving attachment, have become the object of ignorant people's opposition and neglect. Because of transgressing the etiquette of respecting the Lord's manifestations, there have been many obstacles in the worship of the absolute truth in every yuga. Those who do not understand the purport of the path of regulated principles consider the inauspiciousness resulting from transgressing that path as progress on that path. Moreover, by respecting only the path of regulated principles, the more elevated path becomes closed. Srila Prabodhananda Tridandipad was not opposed to the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, but the short-sighted so-called followers of the Goswamis accepted the conception of Sri Prabodhananda as conflicting. As a result, the followers of such people ended up spreading communal dispute. Yeah, and they started saying that Prabodhananda Saraswati is Prakashananda Saraswati. And Srivas just now translated a very long article, like it's many pages long, and we're going to be publishing that soon. We're all on this topic about how Prabodhananda Saraswati and Prakashananda Saraswati are not the same person. And I haven't read it yet myself, but Vaijayantimala, she's editing it right now. And it's very difficult, she said, like very dense, but it's also very exciting, she said. It was like very intriguing, the whole description. I think there's a lot of history in it. And yeah, so that's going to be published in Prabandha Panchakam. We're reprinting Prabandha Panchakam, and we're adding that section into it. It wasn't in the previous edition. I don't know why. Actually, I kind of do know why, but it's a whole topic. So yeah, we're going to be adding that in there. That's the book, 5 Essential Essays. Okay. Continuing on. One second, I'm just gonna open this up so that I can check the comments every now and then. Oh, dang it. Whenever I make a change, I just lost all the comments there. Except from, oh, Haribol Raseshwari Mataji. Maybe it was Shuddha-dvaita and they didn't put yeah. That would make more sense. Maybe that's what happens. Yeah. Okay. ईश्वरेर इच्छा मात्र ईश्वर से जाने केनो भांगिलेन दंड जानिबो केमोने. Only the Supreme Lord knows the will of the Supreme Lord. How will I know why he broke the danda? Nityananda gyata gora chandrer antar Nityanandere ojane Shri Gaur Sundar. Nityananda knows the mind of Gaurachandra, and Shri Gaur Sundar knows the mind of Nityananda. Juge juge dui bhai Shri Rama Lakshman Dohar antara dohe jane anukhan. In every yuga, they appear as two brothers, such as Shri Ram and Lakshman. They always know each other's minds. Ekavastu dui bhag bhakti bhujaite Gaurachandra jani shabe nityananda hoite. The one Lord has become two to teach devotional service. One can know Gaurachandra only through Nityananda. Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Swayam Rup and Swayam Prakash are one. That Swayam Rup is Shri Krishna and Swayam Prakash is Balaram. So Swayam Rup and Swayam Prakash are one. Just as each of the Chaturvyuha, our quadruple expansions, are one. The most worshipable Shri Gaurasundar is Swayam Rup, and Shri Nityananda, the topmost devotee, is Swayam Prakash. By following only the path of regulated principles, the worship of Gaurasundar is hindered. By following only Vaidimarg, then the worship of Shri Gaurasundar is hindered. One second, let me just make this. There. Also by transgressing Shri Nityananda, the service of Shri Gaurasundar is hindered. Shri Nityananda assists in Shri Gaurasundar's preaching of ecstatic love of God in 10 different forms. Only Shri Nityananda is able to reveal to the world the mystery of Shri Chaitanya's acceptance of Ekadanda, and in the position of being without danda, his acceptance of Tridanda. The Srimad Bhagavatam is prescribed for the devotees of Vishnu, the process of accepting Tridanda. Only the Tridandis are able to actually attain the stage of Paramahansa, whereas Ekadandis, practicing the mundane concept of impersonalism, cannot understand their own position. Shri Nityananda Prabhu alone is able to reveal many of the favorable items of spiritual consideration, like the characteristics of differences found in the Ekadanda, which is a combination of Jiva Danda with the Tridanda of the Vedic Sanatan Dharma. and how oneness can be the combination of many. That's neat. How oneness can be the combination of many. Achinta Beta Beta. Balarama vina anya chaitanya danda bhangi pare pare heno ke ache prachanda. Who other than Balaram is powerful enough to break Lord Chaitanya's danda? Shakal bhujai chale Śrī Gaur Sundare je janaye marma she jana sukhe tare. Śrī Gaur Sundar taught everyone by this pretext. Anyone who understands this truth is easily delivered. Danda Bhangi Nityananda Achen Boshiya Khane ke Jagarananda Milila Asiya. After breaking the danda, Nityananda sat there. Shortly thereafter, Jagadananda returned. Bhanga Bhagna? I think it's supposed to be Bhanga. Bhanga danda dekhi maha hoila vismita antare Jagadananda hoila chintita. He was greatly astonished. It says chintit. So chintit can mean worried also, or anxious, right? So yeah, he was greatly anxious and worried, shocked, astonished on seeing the broken danda. And he felt apprehensive at heart. Oh wait, no, that was for Vismita. Varta jigasen danda bhangile kake. Nityananda bole danda dhori le kaje. He asked, who broke the danda? And Nityananda replied, he who held it. Apanar danda prabhu bhangiya apane. Tar danda bhangite ki pare anya jane. The Lord broke his own danda. Who else is capable of breaking it? Shuni vipra arna korila pratutar bhanga danda loy matra cholila satvar. When that Brahmin heard this reply, he did not say anything. He quickly took the broken danda and left. Boshiya achen jatha Śrī Gaur Sundar bhanga danda pheli dila prabhur gochar. One second. How come my keyboard isn't working? There it is. He went to the place where Śrī Gaur Sundar was sitting and placed the broken danda before the Lord. Prabhu bole koho danda bhangilo ke mone pate kiba kandola korila karo sane. The Lord said, tell me how this danda was broken. Did you have a fight with someone on the way? Kohila Jagarananda Pandit Shakal Bhangilen Danda Nityananda Suvival. Jagadananda Pandit narrated the entire incident to the Lord and said, the overwhelmed Nityananda broke the danda. Nityananda Prati Prabhu Jigyase Apani Kilagi Bangila Danda Kaho Deki Shuni. The Lord then asked Nityananda, tell me why you broke my danda. Nityananda bole bhangi yachi vangsha khan na paro komite koro je shasti praman. Nityananda replied, I broke only a piece of bamboo. If you cannot forgive me, then punish me appropriately. Gaudiya Bhashya. The danda is carried by a sannyasi who has not yet attained the platform of Paramahamsa. Therefore, everyone can understand that a sannyasi without a danda has attained the final stage of spiritual life. Worldly opulences cannot disturb such a person. But since Paramahamsas do not accept the symbol of renunciation, ordinary people cannot understand their exalted position. That is why foolish people consider the topmost Paramahansa Vaishnavas to be inferior to themselves. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu broke the bamboo danda of Swayambhurup Brajendranandan Śrī Caitanya so that people would not mistakenly consider anyone who simply carries a danda made of bamboo to be situated just below the topmost Paramahansa platform. Realizing that people would invite inauspiciousness by committing the offense of considering Lord Chaitanya as simply a sannyasi, or considering that he was obligated to accept such symbols, and that they would thereby meet with obstacles in understanding that he is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nityananda broke the one danda into 3 dandas. This pastime of Śrī Nityananda was meant to reveal that the principles of Tridanda, entailing control of the body, mind, and speech, are to be respected by those whose senses are not controlled. That Ekadanda is a combined form of the Tridanda. And that is the duty of Paramahansas to renounce the danda. The tendency of Tridandis is to neither aspire for anyone's blessing nor to award anyone worldly blessings. Those who are bound by mundane conceptions have little interest in pursuing spiritual life. If such people relegate Śrī Guru Sundar to the relative roles like Dandena Dandi, or a sannyasi because he's carrying a danda, they will. So if such people relegate Śrī Guru Sundar to relative roles like Dandena Dandi or sannyasi because of carrying a danda, they will achieve inauspiciousness. Oh, and I'm just letting everybody know, this annoying thing happens with Restream. If I resize the window, then I lose the comments on Facebook. So unfortunately, now I only see the comments on YouTube, not on Facebook. Just letting you know I'm not ignoring you. I think it will show from now on, but all the previous ones I can't see. Prabhu bole jahe sarva deva adishtan, she tomar mate ki hoilo vangsha khan. The Lord said, all the demigods reside in the danda, and you call it a piece of bamboo? Gaudiya Bhashya. According to spiritual consideration, one should respect the supremely pure Tridanda, which is a worshipable form of the 3 guna avatars. But since the mundane consideration that the deity form of Vishnu is made of stone leads one to hell, Śrī Nityananda delivered all living entities from future offense. Don't totally understand this sentence here. Anyhow, I'm just going to continue on. Oops. Okay. Ke bhujite pare gora sundarer lila, mane kore eka mukhe kore ar khela. Who can understand the pastimes of Śrī Gaurasundar? He thinks one thing and says something else. Eteke je bole bhuji Krishner hriday, she aboda iha jani ho nishchoy. Therefore, know for certain that anyone who says, I understand Krishna's mind, is a fool. Mari ben heno jare achaye antare, tahare o dekhi jeno mahapriti kore. He may not show affection even to a person who he intends to kill. Prana sama adhika je sab bhaktagan, tahare o dekhi jeno nirapekhaman. Yet he may neglect devotees whom he considers equal to or greater than his own life, like he did with Jagannātha. That one lila, right? Gaudiya Bhashya. The devotees of Śrī Gaurasundar are equal to the Lord's own life. They have no desire at all to deviate from the path shown by Gaur Hari. To reveal that he is not totally obliged to the devotees, Śrī Gaurasundar sometimes displays indifference. Otherwise, envious humanity will condemn him as a flatterer. To benefit such foolish people, Śrī Caitanya pretended to display indifference by exhibiting equal treatment to both devotees and non-devotees. We just saw how he Said that I don't. I'm by myself. I don't have anybody with me when he passed by the tax collector. E mata achintya agamya lila matra tana anugrahe bujhe tana kripa patra. Such pastimes are inconceivable and unfathomable. Only one who is favored by the Lord can understand them. Danda bhangilen apane icha kori, krodha vyanji bare lagilen gor hari. Out of his own sweet will, Gaur Hari broke the Tridanda and then expressed anger. So he broke it even further. Prabhu bole shabe danda matra chilo sanga, taho aji Krishner ichate hoilo bhanga. The Lord said, "This danda was my only companion. Now today, by Krishna's will, it was broken." Gaudiya Bhashya. From the mundane point of view, the only asset of a sannyasi is his danda. Okay, Satya Mataji. The only asset of a sannyasi is his danda. One who carries a danda maintains himself by begging door to door, and by accepting a danda, he protects himself from the attack of the external world. The omnipotent Lord Gaurasundar displayed humility by declaring that his only asset was a danda to attract ordinary people's affection on the mundane level. Haribol Madhusudan Prabhu. Oh, and Haribol Kishore Prabhu. এতেকে আমার সঙ্গে কারো সঙ্গ নাই তোমরা বা আগে চলো কিবা আমি যাই Now I do not require anyone's company. Either you go ahead or I will go ahead. Mahaprabhu said to everybody. Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Shvetashvatar Upanishad 6:11 and the Gopal Tapani Upanishad Uttar 97, it is stated, Eko Deva Sarvabhuteshu Gudaha. The one Supreme Lord lives hidden within all living entities. In the Chandogya Upanishad 6:21, it is stated, Ekam Eva Dvitiyam. The Supreme Lord is one without a second. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:10:30, it is stated, Tvam Eka Sarva Bhutanam Tehasvatmendriyeshvara. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of everything. The body, life, ego, and senses of every living entity are your own self. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-23, it is stated, Ekas tvam atma purusha purana satya swayam jyotir ananta adhya nityoksharo srasuko niranjana purna dvayo mukta upadito mrita. You are the one Supreme Soul, the primeval Supreme Personality, the Absolute Truth, self-manifested, endless, and beginningless. You are the eternal and infallible, you are eternal and infallible, perfect and complete, without any rival, and free from all material designations. Your happiness can never be obstructed, nor have you any connection with material contamination. Indeed, you are the indestructible nectar of immortality. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10, Canto 10, Chapter 14, verses 55-57, it is stated, Krishnam enam ebehi tvam atmanam akilatmanam jagadidhaya sopyatra dehi va bhatimayaya. You should know Krishna to be the original soul of all living entities. For the benefit of the whole universe, he has, out of his causeless mercy, appeared as an ordinary human being. He has done this by the strength of his internal potency. Vastuto janatam atra Krishnam stasnu charishnu cha bhagavad rupam akilam nanyad vastviha kinchana. Those in this world who understand Lord Krishna as he is, see all things, whether stationary or moving, as manifest forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such enlightened persons recognize no reality apart from the Supreme Lord Krishna. Sarvesham api vastunam bhavarto bhavati stita tasyapi Bhagavan Krishna kim atad vastu rupyatam. Satyamataji is saying, could the protection of the danda also be understood as the protection of body, mind, and words that are given to Krishna? Yeah, that's a very interesting point. Maybe, yeah, very possibly. The original unmanifested form of material nature is the source of all material things. And the source of even that subtle material nature is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. What then could one ascertain to be separate from him? In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-29, it is stated, Atapite deva padam bhuja dvaya prasaraleshana grihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimna na chanya ekopi chiram vichinvan. Sorry, that's not the right meter. Atapite deva padam bhuja dvaya. Anyways. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. Okay, so let's just read the Bengali again. The Lord said, this danda was my only companion. Now today, by Krishna's will, it was broken. Now I do not require anyone's company. Either you go ahead or I will go ahead. Dirukti korite agya shakti ache kar. Shabe hoila shuni chintita apar. Who has the power to refute the Lord's decision? On hearing his words, the devotees all became anxious. Mukunda bolen tabe tumi cholo age. Amra sabar kichu pache kritya ache. Mukunda said, Mukunda said, then you go ahead. We will come later after finishing our duties. Bhalo boli cholilen Śrī Gaur Sundar Matta Singha Pray Gati Likhite Dushkar. Śrī Gaur Sundar replied, good, and then departed. It is difficult to describe how he walked like an intoxicated lion. Muhurte ke gela Prabhu Jaleśvara grame Barabar gela Jaleśvara devasthane. Within a short time, the Lord came to the village of Jaleśvara. There he went straight to the temple of Jaleśvara Mahadev. Gaudiya Bhashya. The present-day Jaleśvara village is situated north of Baleshwar, but the Dandabhanga Nadi is situated near Purī, and the district of Cuttack is situated between the two. Since there's no mention of the Lord returning to Baleshwar, there's no mention of the Lord returning to Baleshwar district from the Purī district, one should consider in what particular place north of Jaleśvara the Lord's danda was broken. If the Lord's danda was broken on the bank of the river Dandabhanga or Bhargi, then between that river and Purī, there must be another temple of Shiva known as Jaleśvara. Jaleśvara pujite achen vipragane ganda pushpa dhupadip mala vibhushane. The Brahmin priests were engaged in worshipping Jaleśvara Shiva with sandalwood paste, flowers, incense, ghee lamps, garlands, and ornaments. I think Kishore is mentioning something about that Dandabhanga, the river Dandabhanga, where, what's his name? Sachinandan Prabhu, is it? Anyways, okay. How come it says Gaudiya Bhashya? I think that was a mistake there. I just read this, right? Jaleśvara pujiche achen vipragane ganda pushpa dhupa The Brahmin priests there were engaged in worshipping Jaleśvara Shiva with sandalwood paste, flowers, incense, ghee lamps. Sorry, I just read this. Garlands and ornaments. Bahuvida vadya uti ache kola holo. Chaturdige nritya gita paramamangal. There was a tumultuous vibration of various musical instruments, and the four directions were filled with the most auspicious dancing and singing. Dekhi Prabhu krode pasharilen santoshe, shevade Prabhu mishaila prem rase. On seeing this, the Lord became pleased and forgot his anger. As he listens to the vibration of the musical instruments, he merged in the mellows of ecstatic love, prem ras. Nija priya Shankare vibhava dekhiya, nritya kore gora chandra parananda hoya. On seeing the opulence of his dear devotee Shankar, Gora Chandra began to dance in ecstasy. Oops. Shiver Gora Bhujayen Gora Chandra Eteke Shankar Priya Sarva Bhakta Vrinda. In this way, Gora Chandra revealed the glories of Shiva. That is why Shankar is dear to all the devotees. Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Mahabharata Bhishma Parva 5.12, it is stated, Prakritibhya param yachcha tad achintasya lakshanam. That which is transcendental to material nature is called inconceivable. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 12.13.16, it is stated, Nimna ganam yatha ganga devanam achuta yatha vaishnavanam yatha shambhu purananam idam tata. Just as the Ganga is the greatest of all rivers, Lord Achyuta, the supreme among the deities, and Lord Shambhu, Shiva, the greatest of Vaishnavas, so Srimad Bhagavatam is the greatest of all Puranas. Namane Chaitanya Pata Bolai Vaishnava Shivede Amna Amanya Kore Vyartatar Shava. The endeavors of one who does not follow the path of Lord Chaitanya and disrespects Shiva, yet claims to be a Vaishnav, are all useless. Gaudiya Bhashya. Those who disrespect the Guna Avatar Mahadev do not actually follow Śrī Caitanya. Śrī Ramanuja preached unalloyed Vaishnav Dharma 400 years before the advent of Śrī Caitanya. Those who synthesize matter and spirit try hard to equate the Guna Avatar with Vasudeva Vishnu. As a result, they commit offenses at the feet of the Supreme Lord. To release such people from their offenses, Sri Lakshman Deshika vigorously and single-handedly preached the topics of devotional service to Vishnu. Veteran Vaishnavas headed by Sri Anandatirtha worshipped the Guna avatars Brahma and Shiva as devotees of the Supreme Lord. Sri Krishna Chaitanya visited the temple of Shiva, the incarnation of a devotee, and prayed for devotional service to Krishna. But if Mahadev, the best of the devotees, is disrespected on the basis of the unalloyed principles of Sri Ramanuja by those who are subservient to Sri Chaitanya, then because of exhibiting envy of a devotee, pure devotees headed by the author become angry at such envious people. When he says by the author, he means Vrindavan Das Thakur, right? Yeah, I think so. Or is he referring to himself, the author of the Gaudiya Bhashya? I don't know. They disrespect Lord Shiva's position as a supreme Vaishnava, which is substantiated as follows. Shiva Virinchi Nutang Sharanyam. The Supreme Lord is honored by powerful demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Dasaste Haranarada Prabhritaya. Personalities like Shiva and Narad are his servants, and Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Shambhu, Lord Shiva, is the greatest of all devotees of Lord Vishnu. Shiva is the best among the 12 Vaishnava authorities, the 12 Mahajans. And he is the original spiritual master of all the Vishnu. He is the original spiritual master of the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya. Furthermore, those people think that since the Lingayat community or the worshippers of Shiva unnecessarily attack Vaishnavas when the Vaishnavas go to see Lord Shiva, at a Shiva temple where Shaivites are engaged in his worship. They have lost the association of sadhus, who are Svajatiya Ashaya Snigdha, are pleasing to the same class of people. The followers of Śrī Caitanya do not think like this. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 4:24-28, Lord Shiva speaks the following words. Ya parang ranghasa shakshat trigunaj jiva sangitat bhagavantam vasudevam prapannasa priyo hime. Any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the controller of everything, material nature, as well as the living entity, is actually very dear to me. And in the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 4:4, verses 13-14, Sati speaks as follows. Nashcharyam etad yad asat susarvada mahad vininda kunapatma vadishu Sershyam mahapurusha pada pangsubir nirastate jasu tadeva shobhanam. It is not wonderful for persons who accepted the transient material body as the self to engage in always deriding great souls. Such envy on the part of materialistic persons is very good, because that is the way they fall down. They are diminished by the dust of the feet of great personalities. That's a heavy verse. Yad vaksharam nama gire ritam niranam sayag. Sakrit prasangad agam ashu hanti tat. Pavittar kirtim tamalangya shashanam. Bhavan ahol dveshti shivam shivetara. My dear father, this is Sati speaking, right? My dear father, you are committing the greatest offense by envying Lord Shiva, whose very name, consisting of two syllables, Shi and Va, purify one of those, whose very name purifies one of all sinful activities. His order is never neglected. Lord Shiva is always pure, and no one but you envies him. I think that's just supposed to say Achen. Korite Achendritya Jagat Jivan Parvata Vidare Heno Hunkar Garjan. The life and soul of the universe continuously danced and roared so loudly, it appeared as though mountains could be broken asunder. Wow. Teki Shiva Das Shab Hoila Vismita Shabe Bolen Shiva Hoila Vidita. When the servants of Shiva saw this, they were struck with wonder and said, Lord Shiva has appeared. Anande Adhika Shabe Kore Gita Badya Prabhu O Nachen Tilardeka Nahi Bahya. They happily sang and played musical instruments with increased enthusiasm, and the Lord danced without the least external consciousness. Kotokone Bhaktagan Asiya Milila Asiya Mukundadi Gaite Lagila. In a short time, the devotees arrived there, and Mukunda immediately began to sing. Priyagan Deki Prabhu Adhika Anande Nachite Lagila Bedi Gai Bhakta Brinde. When the Lord saw his dear associates, he began to dance with increased happiness, and the devotees sang around him. Jevikar kohite bashakti achekar nayane bahoye sura dhuni shattadhar. Who is able to describe the Lord's transformations of love? Tears flowed from his eyes like 100 streams of the Ganga. Ebishe shiverpur pura hoilo sapal jahe nritya kore vaikunter adishwar. Now that the Lord of Vaikuntha was personally dancing there, the abode of Shiva became fulfilled. Kotokane Prabhu Parananda Prakashya. স্থির হইলেন তবে প্রিয়া গোষ্ঠী লয়া। After manifesting transcendental ecstasy for some time, the Lord became pacified and took his associates to the side. Sabha prati korilen prem alingan, shabe hoila nirbhar paramanandaman. The Lord lovingly embraced each of them, and their hearts became confident and full of joy. Nityananda dekhi Prabhu loilen kole, bolite lagila tare kichu kutuhale. On seeing Nityananda, the Lord embraced him and spoke to him in a jovial mood. Kotha tumi amare koriba samvaran, jemote amar hoy sannyasa rakhan. You are supposed to guide me so that I can maintain my sannyas. Aro ama pagal korite tumi chao, ar jodi koro tabe mor matha khao. Instead, you want to make me a madman. If you continue in this way, you will ruin me. And Shubhananda explained to us before, matakao, matakawa. It's also in, what was that again? I just want to see what it said in the dictionary again. Mata. Okay, so matakawa. Where is it? Matakao. Matakao jeona. That means, do not, for the love of me, go away. Okay, so for the love of me. That's how they're translating it here. For the love of me. Or matakawa means give too much indulgence or mislead one by wrong ideas. I think it's this context here, right? Matakawa here means mislead one by wrong ideas. Okay, so if you continue in this way, you will ruin me. More matakao. Jeno koro tumi ama, teno ami hoy, satya satya e ami sabasthane koi. I do whatever you wish. This is a fact. This is a fact that I declare to everyone. Gaudiya Bhashya. And whatever form Sri Nityananda wishes to adorn Sri Gaurasundar, the Lord accepts that form. There's no difference between the hearts of Sri Gaurasundar and Sri Nityananda. They both accepted the form of devotees and engaged in relishing and preaching love of Krishna. Sabare shikhai gora chandra bhagavan, Nityananda pratishabe ho savadhan. Gora Chandra taught everyone, you should all be respectful to Nityananda. Mor deha hoite Nityananda deho boro, satya satya sabare kohino e doro. The body of Nityananda is more important to me than my own body. I assure you that this is the actual truth. Nityananda stane jar hoy aparad, mor dosh nahi tar prem bhakti badha. I am not responsible for the obstacles one finds in the attainment of ecstatic love if he commits an offense at the feet of Nityananda. Nityanande jahar tileka dvesha rahe, bhakta hoile o she amar priya nahe. If one maintains the slightest envy for Nityananda, he is not dear to me, even if he is my devotee. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's not dear to me, even if he is my devotee. Atmastuti shuni Nityananda mahashar, la jai rohila prabhu matana tolai. When Nityananda heard glorification of himself, he felt embarrassed and hung his head down. Sorry, just responding to a quick message very quickly. Okay. And I'll be finished with my reading in like 20 minutes, or less than 20 minutes, very soon. Okay. Atmastuti Shuni Nityananda Mahashaya Lajai Rahila Prabhu Mata Nalut. Okay, we just read that. Parama Ananda Hoila Sarva Bhaktagan Heno Lila Kore Prabhu Shri Sachi-nandan. All the devotees, however, became joyful. Such are the pastimes of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata. E mate Jaleśvare she ratri rahiya ushakale cholila shakal bhaktaloya. After passing that night in Jaleśvara, the Lord departed early the next morning with the devotees. Bangshadaho pate eka shaktanyasi vesh asiya prabhure pate korilo adesh. Yeah, you can keep on going. I will take the side, and I need to pick up something from somebody. So I'll probably start proofreading in like maybe a bit over an hour from now. Okay. Vangshadaha pate eka shakta nyasiresh asya prabhure pate korila adesh. On the way to Vangshadaha, the Lord met one Shakta sannyasi who attempted to instruct the Lord. Gaudiya Bhashya. Other names for Vangshadaha are Vangshada and Vangshadha. This place is situated near Jaleśvara. Okay, we're going to end very soon. Well, oops. Kishore mentioned there's a lot more to the pastime. Is that referring to the Dandabhanga pastime? Okay, we're ending at 276. Okay. Shakta heno prabhu jani len nija mane sambhashite lagilen madhur vachane. The Lord knew that he was a Shakta, a worshipper of goddess Durga, yet he began to speak to him in sweet words. Where was this? This was on the way to Vangshadaha. The Lord met one Shakta. Okay. It's Prabhu bole koho koho kota tumi shab chiradine aji shabe dekhilum bandhav. The Lord said, "Tell me, where have you been? After a long time, I have found my friends." The Shakta is trying to instruct the Lord, right? Prabhur mayai Shakta mohita hoila apanara tattva jata kohite lagila. Being bewildered by the Lord's illusory energy, the Shakta began to tell the Lord about himself. Jota jota Shakta boishe, jota jota deshe, shab kohe eke eke shuni prabhu hase. The Shakta told the Lord about all the Shaktas he knew in different provinces. Hearing him, the Lord smiled. Shakta bole cholo jhat, matete amar, shabe ananda aji koribo apar. Remember this word ananda, right? Mahaprabhu didn't know this word before, but then with Nityananda Prabhu knew this word. The Shakta said, that was when Mahaprabhu went to the house of that kind of what was it called? Dari Sannyasi, I think it was called. The Shakta said, "Now let us go to my monastery. We can drink lots of ananda, lots of bliss together." Well, this says we'll do ananda. Papi Shakta modirare boloye ananda Bhujiya hasen gora chandra nityananda. Realizing that the sinful Shakta was referring to wine, Gaura Chandra and Nityananda began to smile. Gaudiya Bhashya. The phrase Papi Shakta is explained as follows. Since worshippers of Shakti, of Durga, who become intoxicated with material happiness by drinking wine, have a strong propensity for committing sinful activities, they are ultimately cheated of spiritual advancement. The Panchamakar, Panchamakar refers to Mangsa, meat, Madhya, wine, Matsya, fish, Mohila, women, and Maituna, sex, are the source of pleasure for their material bodies. Prabhu bole, Ashi ami ananda korite, Age giya tumi saja koroho tvarite. The Lord said, I will come to enjoy your bliss, but you first go and make arrangements. Gaudiya Bhashya. What time is it? 8:15. Gaudiya Bhashya. Since many foolish people are unable to ascertain the truth, they consider sense gratification born of ignorance as the goal of life. Because people attached to Shakta philosophy glorify their own sense gratification, they cannot understand unalloyed service to Adokshach. Prakrit Sahajas are fit to be addressed as Papi Shaktas. Their goal of life is material enjoyment. Just as Śrī Gaurasundar cheated such Prakrit Sahajas by approving of their activities when he met them, the most pure spiritual master of this fallen soul also recently cheated many people interested in material enjoyment by following the example set by Śrī Caitanya. People interested in material enjoyment think that the Vaishnavas hanker after name and fame as they do. Such Prakrit Sahajas or sinful Shaktas also know that when they spread their network of wicked motives to compel the Vaishnavas to become attached householders by tempting them with household comforts, the most independent Vaishnavas will rebuke them with angry words. The Vaishnavas never visit the homes of Prakrit Sahajas. The most independent pure Vaishnavas never participate in any gathering arranged by any Prakrit Sahaja. Foolish people think that the supremely liberated Mahabhagavats support their sinful activities, but the actual aim of Śrī Gaurasundar and his devotees is to deceive them by remaining aloof from their bad association. Shuniya cholila shakta hoy harashita Mata Ishwarer Agadha Charitra. On hearing the Lord's reply, the Shakta departed happily. Such are the unfathomable characteristics of the Supreme Lord. Patita Pavana Krishna Sarva Vede Kohe Ataeva Shakta Sane Prabhu Katha Kohe. All the Vedas declare that Krishna is Patita Pavan, the deliverer of the fallen souls. That is why the Lord spoke with that Shakta. Loke bole e shakter hoilo udhar, e shakta parashe anya shakter nistar. People would then say, this shakta has been delivered, and other shaktas will also be delivered by contact with him. E mata Śrī Gaurasundar Bhagavan, nana mate korilen sarva jivatran. In this way, Lord Śrī Gaurasundar used various means to deliver all living entities. Enomate shakter sahita rasa kori, aila Remuṇā grame Gauranga Shrihari. After joking with that Shakta, Śrī Gaurhari went to the village of Remuṇā. Oh, Kir Chor Gopinath Katha. So that is our reading for today. And I think I'll save this for tomorrow so we can end early. Yeah, so we'll start from this verse tomorrow. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Rup Manjari says, this Shakta's friendly desire to show off all his friends reminds me of a rickshawala I had on Bika Kolnowitz. I'd like to hear more of that story, Rup Manjari. You can tell me on WhatsApp. All right. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandhar Vikagiri Dhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Juki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Juki Jai Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Shri Guru Devi Ki Jai Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Shishmar Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitya Pravishna Vishnupada Shatara Shatashman Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishna Vishnupada Shatara Shatashman Bhakti Brigyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishna Vishnupada Shatara Shatashman Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishna Maha Bhagavat Srila Gokshara Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishna Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Nitya Pravishna Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannātha Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Śrī Rūpānu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Śrī Rūp Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Śrī Jagopāla Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sharda Gosai Prabhu Ki Jai. Śrī Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Śrī Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namachay Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Thurvandavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradaka Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Ki Jai. Shri Muna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwara Mahadev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shakshi Nandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Swaparsha Shri Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Shriman Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Jagadananda Pandit Ki Jai. Shri Mukunda Ki Jai. Jai Shri all the associates of Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinams. Jai Jaleśvara Mahadev Ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashaja Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandava pranams, everybody. Hare Krishna, Satyamataji, Hari Bo, Shubhananda Prabhu, Hari Bo, Hari Prabhu, Bhavatārani Mataji, Gopal Ghanasham Prabhu, Krishna Mai Didi, Champak Mataji, and who is there on YouTube and Facebook? Let's see, Hari Mohini Didi, Rup Manjari Didi, Forever. Sorry, I don't know your whole name there. Vidya Lalasa Didi, Rukmini Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Kishore Prabhu, and Nitai, can't forget Nitai Charu Didi, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, and there are a few other devotees who mentioned. I lost all the comments on Facebook, so I can't see who's on Facebook right now, unless you write a comment right now. But Dandavat Pranams, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you all tomorrow to read about Mahaprabhu's going to Remuṇā. I'm not sure if we'll see if we're going to read about Mahaprabhu's embracing, like going to arriving in Purī, maybe. I have to look. And I think tomorrow is my last live reading of this chapter. And then the next readings I'm going to have to, the day after tomorrow, we're starting our parikrama. So I'll have to pre-record those videos till we finish this chapter. And then there'll be a little bit of a break. And then on Gaur Purnima Day, we'll continue the reading. So let's see, how many more words are left in this chapter? We have 18,000 words left in the chapter. 18,000 words. And we do about like 5,000 to 6,000 words a day. And so, yeah, we'll finish this in like 4 days, I guess. Yeah, 4 days. So we'll finish this chapter and then there'll be a break. But tomorrow will be the last live reading. Okay. Very well, everybody. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much for joining. And see let's look at the titis. What titis are coming up? In 2 days, okay. Oh, today is the appearance day of Srila Bhakti Vivek Bharati Gosai Maharaj. Jai Srila Bhakti Vivek Bharati Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. I didn't look at the calendar. Today Shubha Abhirbhav Titi Ki Jai. I didn't get to read about him. Anyhow, you can go to vcvani.com and I'm sure there'll be wonderful Harikatha there by Srila Bhakti Vivek Bharati Gosai Maharaj. And then in 2 days from now, that's when we start our parikrama. That is Srila Bhakti Vaibhav Purī Gosai Maharaj's disappearance day. And then our main parikrama party, not the one that I'm going on, but the main big parikrama party starts in 6 days from now, on March 20th. Actually, in 5 days from now, because that's when Sankhalpa would be, March 19th. And then Vyanjali Mahadvarishi is in 7 days. Disappearance day of Madhavendra Puri is in 8 days. And Gaur Purnima is in 11 days, March 25th. All right. Thank you so much for joining, and see you all tomorrow. Haribol. Ending now.
Thank you.
One second. Thank you. Haribol. Satyamataji. Jai Shri Radhe.